So I can see that participants are joining us, and I would like to welcome the first of you who joined, and we'll just wait a few minutes for people to get on the Zoom link. More and more people are joining, so it's the perfect silence before the storm. I think you will have 2 hours of very super interesting presentations. So officially we will start in 2 minutes, just to give the last people the chance to join us. Okay, I think we will officially start now, and hopefully the next few people will join us later. But first of all, thank you very much for joining and signing up for bringing value to AgroBiomass. It's actually a two-step event. First, we are introducing you to the webinar, where we will learn about how you can bring value to AgroBiomass. The webinar will display actual cases, and we have from Romania, from Greece, from Denmark, from Spain, and also very interesting project from the Low and Carbon and Circular Economy Business Action. And we will be presenting with some cases there as well. So we will have a very strong and super interesting webinar. And let me please introduce you to the AgroBioHeat project coordinator. He will introduce you to the project and to some of the cases. Please, Manolis, I'm not very good in pronouncing the last word, but Karam Pinis, Center for Research and Technology in Hellas from Greece. The floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Suzanne. Good morning, everybody, or well, good day. I don't know, maybe I guess some of you are joining from all over the globe, so I'm not sure what time of the day you have over there. My name is Manolis Karambinis, indeed. Suzanne is getting better with time with pronouncing the name, and I'm the coordinator of the AgroBioHeat project and a research associate at Center for Research and Technology in LAS. It is my honor to start this short webinar by giving you first an introduction about the state of the play when it comes to agrobiomass, and then I will say a few things about the AgroBioHeat project and its activities, since some of them might be relevant also for you. But the first thing that I would like to clarify is the definition of the term agrobiomass, since it is in the title of our event. And at least within the scope of the project, we are focusing on 3 types or 4 types of feedstocks. The first are the feedstocks that are coming from the agricultural residues, as we say, the things that are left on the field after the harvesting of a main product, such as cereal or corn, or, for example, from the prunings from the regular maintenance of orchards. and they can be herbaceous like straw, or in the case of prunings, they are quite woody in nature, as you can imagine. We are also talking about what we call the agro-industrial residues, things like olive stones, olive cake, nut shells, and so on, that are produced by agro-industries after processing an agricultural product into a commodity. You will hear a very interesting and a little, I would say, exotic example, at least for us, from Denmark later on. What is important to note here is that the quantities of these materials may not be always apparent to those of us that are living in the cities, but in the countryside, they are abundant. And it's often the case that for every ton of agricultural product you produce, you often have 1 ton or maybe even more in some cases of residues that you need to handle somehow. And then we also have something which we're not going to a lot of details in this event today, the dedicated energy crops, as we like to call them sometimes, lignocellulosic in nature, so they are not food crops that people or animals can eat, but things that are grown exclusively for the biomass and mostly used for energy applications, things like miscanthus, poplar, willow, and so on. And the reason why we are or some people are cultivating these are not just for energy production, is because they can provide a wider set of ecosystem services. They can be grown on abandoned, marginal, uncontaminated land. They can provide phytoremediation services. They can serve as buffer strips for water and so on. What has been done with agrobiomass historically or traditionally? Well, the people from back in the ancient days have been using this material for various purposes. A very standard application, for example, still relevant today, is animal feeding, especially with straw, for example. It's used quite a lot for feeding cows, sheep, and other animals. But it can also be used as a building material. You have traditional houses which incorporate straw, for example, in their design, but they can be used also as a kind of biocommodity. So the concept of using a cereal straw as a drinking straw is not, let's say, uncommon. It started in ancient Egypt. But you can also use agrobiomass as a cooking fuel or as a heating fuel in, I would say, very low-tech applications, but sometimes the result can be quite tasty, as you can see from the picture of the oven lamp, which is baked over vineyard prunings. But nowadays, there are many modern applications for agrobiomass. You can use it still for animal feeding and bedding, but now it can be upgraded into pellets, so you can have several advantages there. You can process it into a building material. You can make panels, for example, out of straw. You can have, in a more modern format, the drinking straws from cereal straw. But of course, you can also use it for energy. And there are several examples you can find in the literature through a Google survey. Denmark, for example, is well known for its use of straw for heat production in district heating systems and in CHP plants or even at farm scale systems. Nowadays, you can have biofuels made from lignocellulosic residues, so such as straw. Or you can have power generation, such as the example I'm showing here, which is an olive tree pruning fuel power plant in Italy. However, despite, let's say, the technical capabilities that we have nowadays of converting agrobiomass into a variety of useful products, it is still the case that the material itself is not handled properly. And I will show you here a very dramatic picture, which is coming from Ukraine, but it is actually before the Russian invasion, no matter how it is. This is an example of reed fires, a quick way to dispose the material, but very polluting and damaging to the environment, as you can imagine, in Kherson. This is maybe a very dramatic example, but by no means is it isolated in Europe. I have here another example from central Greece where you can see an olive grove, and in the background somewhere here you can see the open fires, which is still, unfortunately, the standard way in which farmers dispose of the prunings every year after the cutting, and not just in Greece, but also in Italy and in Spain. It is still quite widespread. With this background, a few years ago, we started the AgroBioHeat project with the main intention to promote the valorization of agrobiomass in rural Europe, especially targeting the energy market, but the decentralized applications. So we are talking about heat production on a rural scale and applications which can be used to heat, for example, a small district heating network, a municipal building, like, for example, a municipal swimming pool, commercial service buildings like hotels. You can heat greenhouses or small agro-industries, and in some cases even in residential combustion, residential heating appliances. The project started back in January 2019. We are nearing its end now. It will finish in June 2022, so in 2 months' time approximately. And it has been active in 6 European countries mostly, where we are doing what we like to say multiplication actions. You can see them on the green color on the map. And it is coordinated by CERTH, my organization. Over the last 3+ years, we have been doing a lot of things in this project. So today I'm supposed to give you only a few of the highlights of what we have been doing and some things which might be relevant for you as someone who is coming from whichever part of Europe or the globe. The first, I have to clarify, I mentioned this already, is why and for whom we are talking about agrobiomass heating. I mentioned before we are looking into rural applications, and the important thing to notice is that it's, in our minds at least, a solution that provides only benefits. At the end of the day, you can reduce your heating cost compared to heating oil and natural gas. We wrote that a few years ago, but now it is even more relevant with the large increases of the fossil fuel prices. You support rural growth in the circular economy because the actions are implemented on a local scale, and also since you reduce the use of fossil fuels, you also reduce the carbon footprint and you help fight climate change. And I already mentioned, let's say, which are our main target areas for application. What we have been doing in the last years, we have tried to record and monitor and follow different existing success cases we have found in Europe. One very nice way to be informed about them is to find the videos we have been releasing on YouTube about them. We have a dedicated playlist, and I will share an example, a very recent example that we recorded from Greece later in this webinar. We have developed also what we say is the AgroBioHeat Observatory. This is an online mapping tool which you can access through this URL, which is a map that displays the current cases that we have identified in Europe, small-scale heating cases. I also recorded other cases of agrobiomass use, for example, the large-scale power plants, CHP plants, or biofuel plants. We have identified and recorded several equipment manufacturers, people, for example, who produce boilers suitable for agrobiomass fuels, as well as ESCOs and installers and agrobiomass fuel suppliers. And the big advantage of this tool is that it is not just a simple recording of, let's say, instances, but you can also use several filter functions to find what you're looking for. And if, for example, you're looking into a heating case, you can see, for example, who provided the equipment for that, or vice versa. If you're looking at an equipment manufacturer, you can see where they have installed their appliances. So you can get a nice idea of the references people have in the agrobiomass sector. Like every other project, we are developing a series of, let's say, reports and outputs, but there is one that I think would be very, very useful to everybody who is interested in, let's say, agrobiomass. It's a series of guides that each one is focusing on a specific type of biomass feedstock. And we released the first one from straw already, I think, more than a year ago, focusing on the Danish experience that I briefly mentioned before. A couple of weeks ago, we released our second guide that has to do with the utilization of residues from the maize cultivation. And either today or tomorrow, you should be able to find on our project website the third guide, which has to do with the agro-industrial residues and how they can be converted to energy. There is one more guide available that will come soon regarding agricultural prunings and uprootings. And thanks to our project partners, this will also be translated into the project languages that we are from the project partners. So since I guess we have some people joining from Latin America, you may be happy to hear that all of these will be available or are already available, in fact, in Spanish, for example. Then we have the virtual matchmaking events, the one that this webinar is a part of. We started those back in February 2021 as a way to involve people during the peak of the pandemic, but it turned out to be a very successful endeavor. So actually now you're joining the third such edition of this event. The second one took place in November 2021, so already we have a quite good frequency. In the previous occasions, we had a very big number of participants and a very big number of bilateral meetings. And the feedback we got was that was very excellent, I would say, very relevant meetings and even some real collaborations or partnerships materializing after those events. And I can also attest to that personally, since I have been in contact with people and now we are starting to work with them in different projects or applications together. Today you probably already know that we are having a matchmaking session organized on May 11th. I guess most of you have already registered somehow for this event, but if not, you can do so through the dedicated website of this event. And the procedure is fairly simple. Probably Suzanne has already explained it to you somehow, one way or another, but essentially you set up your profile, you indicate either what you can offer or what you're looking for, and you can request meetings with the people who have already established their profiles on the platform. So fairly simple, and most of it is done automatically afterwards. Something that will happen in about 1 week from now, but is a virtual site visit to AgroBiomass heating facilities in Romania. But I won't say a lot of that because Bob Clark and Tihammer will cover it in the next presentation. And as I said before, the project is nearing its end, so we have our final events coming up. If any one of you is from Italy or is coming to Italy to join the Progetto Fuoco Fair in Verona, that's I think the largest event about biomass heating in the world, please do drop by the dedicated stand we are going to have for the AgroBioHeat project, and we will be happy to discuss with you whatever your ideas or theories is about agrobiomass. And within the fair, we are going to have a dedicated event with our Italian collaborators. And then two other things that might be relevant for you is that on the May 19th, we are having an open event on a bit more technical subject that has to do with the emission limits from agrobiomass boilers and how they could be integrated into the European eco-design regulation. And if all goes well, on June the 2nd, we are going to have the final project event as part of the EU Green Week 2022, which is going to take place as a hybrid event, both in Brussels and with online streaming, if all goes well. And I don't have nowadays all the graphics and everything for these events, but please stay tuned on our social media and project website for further details. And I think that's enough from my side for now, and I will then leave the floor to our invited speakers so that you can get an idea of what it is really to bring value to agrobiomass. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Manolis, and I hope you all got an informative insight into what AgroBioHeat is all about. And please remember, even though the project will end, the information will be available and the guidelines on our website, agrobioheat.com. bioenergy.eu. Just one correction for the matchmaking event. Since we have a guest from Canada and from Latin America, we would like to extend the matchmaking event till 7 o'clock in the evening. It also says in the emails sending to you from the system. With these words, I would like to continue and welcome on board the Green Energy Innovation Biomass Cluster from Romania, Boglada Vriadan and Tihamer Sebastian. I'm terrible in pronouncing names, I'm sorry, but I would please, now we go to the business cases and opportunities and successful. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Susanne, for the introduction, and thank you also for the opportunity to speak about opportunities and success cases regarding agrobiomass in Romania. My name is Boglarka Vojda, and I am responsible for international relations at the Green Energy Cluster. Green Energy Cluster is a cluster that has been established in 2011. As you can see, it's in the central part of Romania. Sorry for this typo. And it has been established by stakeholders interested in promoting the biomass, interested in the biomass production. And this was the idea to form this cluster in order to raise the awareness about the opportunities that exist in the biomass sphere and to promote the bioenergy sector in Romania. Among the actors, we find businesses, mainly energy crop growers, wood waste companies, agro industries, waste management companies, and so on, and boiler manufacturers, the most important one, IT companies, and other accessory companies, but also public authorities, academia and research institutions, as well as catalyst organizations. And these actors have established the main pillars of the cluster. The most important one is developing the value chain at local level in the bioenergy field. Here you can see the main pillars of the cluster. As you can see, we have established as a main goal a sustainable energy community development, meaning that we are working a lot with communities, with public authorities, in order to help them to become bioenergy villages. We have developed this concept of 1 village, 1 megawatt, the megawatt coming from the bioenergy. Here you can see that we are also putting emphasis on the education and training and on enhancing businesses in this area. And of course, research and innovation. We work a lot with researchers in order to find solutions in the biomass sector, not just on bioenergy field, but also other fields like bioeconomy and circular economy as well. You see here all the logos of our ongoing or previous projects and the funding programs. We are partner in AgroBioHeat project. We are national multiplier. Our role is to promote and to raise the awareness about the opportunities existing in the agrobiomass sector. As you can see, Romania, it's a very rich country in natural resources. there is a large share of agricultural land and forest land. 60% of the land is covered by arable land, agricultural land, suitable for agricultural production. But also it's important to mention that it has a rural character. 87% of the country's surface is covered by rural area. There are around 13,000 villages in Romania. So this AgroBioHeat project, it's a very important one to promote agrobiomass in rural areas. And as you can see on these geographical representations, Romania has a lot of potential in the agricultural field. And the agricultural productions represent a large share in the GDP. As you can see here, the most productive counties in the agricultural sector, you see here the cereal groves for grains and seeds. Then you see here in this map the orchards in Romania, then the willow plantations, and other types of energy crops as well, not represented in this map, but there are around 8 to 1,000 hectare of energy crop plantation, but also you see the vineyards and also pastures and meadows. And all these represent a rich source of agrobiomass. Therefore, we have divided Romania into 4 strategic regions in order to promote and to engage stakeholders towards these issues. You see here Northeast region, which has a high biomass energy potential, wood waste and agricultural waste as well, but also orchards and vineyard prunings. Especially the South region is very popular for agricultural production and cereal production, like grain, maize, and sunflower. There are large agricultural lands. The West region as well, with cereals, maize production, and the Northwest and Central regions, which are covered with large forested areas, mountain pasture lands, orchards, and here we find also short rotation copies energy crops. What we did within the AgroBioHeat project is that we work a lot with local stakeholders, regional ones and national ones. We supported through technical assistance new initiatives, agrobiomass heating solutions. We identified and promoted success cases, which my colleague Tihame Sebestin will speak about. We have analyzed public perceptions. We formulated policy recommendations and we did advocacy measures. And of course, we contributed with participation in fairs and exhibitions to the visibility, to the increase of the visibility of the project and of the solutions. We have organized study visits and trainings and business-to-business meetings and a lot of dissemination actions. One of the upcoming events that I would like to call your attention upon is a virtual site visit that we will organize on the 29th of April, starting from 10 a.m. Here you can see the registration to the event, but I will share in the chat the link. This is how we thought to organize this virtual session. The first part will be a site visit to biomass heating at industrial facilities, agro-industrial facilities, but also some office buildings. And the second part will be about agrobiomass heating in rural areas in small municipalities. But I would like to kindly ask my colleague Tihamir Sebestin to speak about this program and to speak about some of the success cases in the agrobiomass field. Tihamir, please.
Yes, thank you very much, and welcome all of our colleagues here in our meeting. So as Boglarka mentioned, this is unfortunately a virtual visit, but we do our best to provide you technical and technical aspects, insights, and the framework also to see as much as possible the cases. So we let's say preparing short videos, and there are two sessions. First is mostly focusing on agro-food industrial facilities, such as food processing, agro-industry, but also office buildings. This is the first session. While the second part of the site visit going to be mostly highlighting the small and medium-sized projects in municipalities like Galinza, which is the very first and very rapidly developing bioenergy village in Romania. The Estelnik, which is the second bioenergy village, which was started in a former BioWheel Horizon 2020 project, as well as the Lokoden village through a foundation, and a public waste management company, the Tega company, which is a very good example how to manage the collection of solid biomass on municipality level and to valorize it by producing thermal energy. In the next slide, maybe you are a little bit already familiarized with Dahlia Greenhouse, which is one of our success case. There is over 2.5 hectares of greenhouses heated by all kind of let's say agrobiomass, such as willow wood chips from prunings, and other solid biomass residuals. There are installed in a modular way 6 biomass-fueled biomass boilers. The company has a storage facility, quite a big one, over 10,000 cubic meters, in order to have their own sufficiency from biomass feeding and biomass supplying. Compared to the use of natural gas, they realized about 60% economic savings with the realization of agrobiomass-based heating system for these 20 greenhouses in Romania. The next one is our let's say latest success project, because as I mentioned in our last meeting, at the Solfan we achieved to install a 200 kilowatt agrobiomass heating system. The Solfan is a family-owned small company, mostly focusing on grain production, cultivation of potatoes. They have about 1,000 square meter industrial hall with you see in the pictures. and they have to provide heating, not cooling, for the potato, because this is during the winter season. This storage should be kept about 4 or 5 degrees at least. One part with 15 or 16 degrees where the packaging line and production line is installed. So within the AgroBioHeat project, we provided technical assistance, and we linked together the local, let's say, biomass providers, agrobiomass fuel providers, also with the local biomass boiler producer and other engineering companies who installed this heating distribution system, the boiler itself, and also the storage and the automatized feeding system. The agro-industrial waste that can be used as fuel we consider that in mid-term, the company going to become self-sufficient from own agro biomass residuals, basically in form of wood chips from energy willow and agrobiomass secondary products like corn stalk and straw from the grain production. The installed capacity here is, as I mentioned, 200 kilowatt agrobiomass heating system. And here is one of our best, let's say, example as a rural municipality, how can become famous, let's say, because last year Galinza commune received the Sustainable Town in Romania award. This municipality was selected by the cluster as a pilot commune from 2016, and nowadays we have several installed capacities at the local SMEs, local business units like bakery, how to say, timber production companies, but also at local public buildings like the city hall, kindergarten, the gym, and so on, and several small guest houses also installed such capacities. The total installed capacity is over 1 megawatt already, with several independently installed units. The range is about 100 kilowatt up to 200 or up to 500 kilowatts capacities in this village. And the good news is that let's say story continuing, because the municipality just received very promising news. They going to install additional 3 other biomass boilers to cover up to 100% of the public buildings by biomass or agrobiomass based heating systems. And this is the One Village, 1 Megawatt initiative in Romania, which is about the rural areas. According to our initiative, in each municipality in rural communes can be organized a small, let's say, local biomass value chain, supplying chain, in order to at least to start with the public buildings and to valorize the local residuals like pruning, orchard pruning, cleaning of public areas or to valorize other agricultural secondary products, solid biomass. So that is in brief, but all kind of questions we can answer if you have.
Thank you very
of
much.
course, we are happy to host you, all of you, in very soon.
Yes, thank you very much to Hamea and Boglarka. I thank you for showcasing the opportunities and the success stories in Romania. And please be more inspired and register for the virtual visit later this month. I will give the word back to Manolis to showcase, recorded though, but still the success story from Greece, from Ditepa.
Yes, you're getting better, Suzanne, pronouncing Greek acronyms this time.
Okay.
So before Bioenergy Europe starts to play the pre-recorded video, a couple of things for just to introduce it. Unfortunately, up to quite recently, we did not have in Greece a very dedicated promotion of agrobiomass or biomass in general, as has been the case in Romania. However, quite recently, a very interesting example arose through its own efforts, I would say. And it is located in the cold north of Greece, in the area of West Macedonia. It is the most, I think, well-known thing about this area is that it was for decades the seat of the Greek electricity production through lignite mining. It's a very low-rank coal. The lignite was used to, apart from producing electricity, provide heat to local district heating systems. But since some of these plants were supposed to be decommissioned, then there was a big question mark about where the heat would come from in a competitive and in the future sustainable way. And in one of the cities in Amindeo, you will see how the local district heating company gave such a solution, as well as starting looking into, I would say, smaller biomass systems in rural villages. So I think we can now share the video, and I can maybe later answer any questions that could be from there. Francisco, maybe you can start. Perfect, thank you.
Για δεκαετίες, η περιφέρεια της Δυτικής Μακεδονίας αποτελούσε τον κύριο ενεργειακό πυλώνα της Ελλάδας μέσω της εξόρυξης λιγνίτη και της παραγωγής ηλεκτρισμού από αυτόν. Η σχεδιαζόμενη απολιγνητοποίηση και το κλείσιμο των ορυχείων και των λιγνητικών μονάδων μπορεί να συνεπάγεται περιβαλλοντικά ωφέλη, ωστόσο έχει μια σειρά από τεράστιες κοινωνικο-οικονομικές επιπτώσεις για τους κατοίκους της περιοχής. Ένα από τα πιο άμεσα θέματα είναι το πώς θα διασφαλιστεί στο μέλλον η λειτουργία των συστημάτων τηλεθέρμανσης που λειτουργούσαν με θερμότητα που λαμβάνονταν από τους λιγνητικούς σταθμούς. Η υπολειμματική αγροτική βιομάζα αποτελεί ήδη μέρος της λύσης που έχει δοθεί στην περιοχή του Αμιντέου.
Βρισκόμαστε στον χώρο των μονάδων βιομάζας της τηλεθέρμανσης Αμιντέου, όπου εδώ πέρα έχουν κατασκευαστεί δύο μονάδες συνολικής ισχύως 30 ΜΒ, οι οποίες είναι ικανές να θερμάνουν την πόλη του Αμιντέου και τους οικισμούς Πιλώτα και Λεβαία. Εδώ πριν από λίγα χρόνια η θερμότητα αυτή προερχόταν από τον ατμολογιστικό σταθμό της ΔΥ που βρίσκεται ακριβώς πίσω μας, όπου υπήρξε κιόλας και ο λόγος ίδρυσης της τηλεθέρμανσης και του συστήματος που υπάρχει και λειτουργεί εδώ και 15 χρόνια. Από το 2015 λοιπόν έχουμε μπει σε μια διαδικασία, γνωρίζοντας το πρόβλημα που θα προκύψει λόγω της απόσυρσης των λιγνητικών μονάδων και προκειμένου του ΑΕΣ Αμιντέου, να βρούμε έναν τρόπο να αναπληρώσουμε τη θερμική ενέργεια που θα χάναμε, αυτή που λαμβάναμε έως τότε από τον ατμολογιστικό σταθμό, με έναν τρόπο διαφορετικό, βιώσιμο και περιβαλλοντολογικά αποδεκτό.
Τα καύσιμα βιομάζας παραλαμβάνονται με φορτηγά, ζυγίζονται και αποθηκεύονται. Ένα σύστημα κινούμενων δαπέδων χρησιμοποιείται για τη μεταφορά των καυσίμων στο σύστημα τροφοδοσίας. Αφού απομακρυνθούν με κατάλληλο σύστημα ξένα μέρη και υπερμεγέθη κομμάτια, η καύσιμη ύλη, μεγέθους του πολύ P100 έως P150, οδηγείται σε σιλό τροφοδοσίας και από εκεί στους λέβητες. Εντός των λεβίτων πραγματοποιείται η καύση της βιομάζας με χρήση συστήματος επικλινούς κινούμενης εσχάρας, ενώ ανακτάται η θερμότητα καύσης και αποδίδεται στο νερό που διανέμεται μέσω του υδραυλικού δικτύου στους πελάτες της τηλεθέρμανσης. Για τον περιορισμό των εκπομπών, το έργο περιλαμβάνει πλήρη αντιρρυπαντικό εξοπλισμό που αποτελείται από πολυκυκλώνες και σακόφιλτρα για τη μείωση των σωματιδίων, σύστημα αποθείωσης με υδράζεστο και σύστημα μείωσης εκπομπών οξυδίων του αζότου με χρήση αμμονίας.
Το έργο αυτό στην ουσία είναι η εφαρμογή της Ευρωπαϊκής Οδηγίας 27 του 12 περί του ορισμού της αποδοτικής τηλεθέρμανσης. Το εν λόγω σύστημα αποτελεί αποδοτική τηλεθέρμανση λόγω του ότι αξιοποιεί τουλάχιστον 50% βιομάζα, η οποία προέρχεται από ξυλώδη πρώτη ύλη, αγροτικά υπολείμματα, καθώς επίσης μπορεί να γίνει σύγκαυση και με ένα μικρό ποσοστό και με λιγνίτη. Ο λιγνίτης αυτή τη στιγμή συμμετέχει στο μείγμα καυσίμου κατά 30%, με στόχο σταδιακά στα επόμενα χρόνια να μηδενιστεί, και φυσικά υπάρχει για λόγους επάρκειας και ασφάλειας τροφοδοσίας. Ευελπιστούμε με την πάροδο του χρόνου η τροφοδοσία να είναι 100% από βιομάζα. Προσφάτως η τηλεθέρμανση αμυντέου προμηθεύτηκε και έναν τεμαχιστή, τον οποίο βλέπετε στα αριστερά μου, ο οποίος μας έχει δώσει τη δυνατότητα να αξιοποιήσουμε και υπολείμματα βιομάζας, τα οποία δεν μας έρχονται σε μορφή wood chips, αλλά τεμαχίζονται εδώ πέρα επί τόπου στο έργο. Γι' αυτό και τη χρονιά που διανύουμε και ολοκληρώνεται σε 2 μήνες περίπου σαν θερματική περίοδο, εισάγαμε για πρώτη φορά και αγροτική βιομάζα από υπολείμματα καλαμποκιού, τις οποίες μπάλες βλέπετε από πίσω μας, φτιάχνοντας στην ουσία με τον τεμαχιστή μας ένα μείγμα το οποίο αποτελείται από υπολείμματα ξύλων και υπολείμματα καλαμποκιού με αναλογία περίπου 3:1. Ευελπιστούμε τα επόμενα χρόνια να αυξήσουμε την αγροτική βιομάζα, γιατί είναι και η μόνη μορφή βιομάζα στην ουσία που υφίσταται στην ευρύτερη περιοχή. Στην παρούσα φετινή συγκυρία, η τηλεθέρμανση θεωρώ ότι βρίσκεται τουλάχιστον στο 1/3 της τιμής όλων των υπολείπων μορφών θέρμανσης. Η θέρμανση με πετρέλαιο, με ηλεκτρικό ρεύμα, αλλά και με έτοιμο πέλετ που προμηθεύεται η αγορά, νομίζω ότι κοστίζει τουλάχιστον 3 με 4 φορές πιο πολύ από τη τηλεθέρμανση του αμυντέου. Πριν από την κατασκευή αυτού του έργου, υπήρξε μια πιλωτική μικρή εφαρμογή στα σχολεία του Λεχόβου. Εκεί πέρα βρίσκονται το δημοτικό και το γυμνάσιο του χωριού. Μιλάμε για έναν οικισμό των 1.000 κατοίκων, ορεινό οικισμό σε υψόμετρο περίπου 1.000 μέτρων, όπου ήταν μια καλή περίπτωση στο να γίνει μια μικρή τηλεθέρμανση, ένα μικρό δικτυάκι τροφοδοτούμενο από έναν μικρό λέβητα βιομάζας. Ο λέβητας αυτός λειτουργεί από το 2015. Αρχικά ξεκίνησε με έτοιμη τυποποιημένη βιομάζα, δηλαδή με pellets. Τα τελευταία 2 χρόνια γίνανε κάποιες μετασκευές, ούτως ώστε να μπορέσουμε να αξιοποιήσουμε και wood chips, γιατί υπάρχουν εδώ πέρα σε πληθώρα, όπως αντιλαμβάνεστε. Βρισκόμαστε ακόμα σε μια συνεχή διαδικασία στο Λέχοβο βελτιώσεων και τροποποιήσεων. Πιστεύουμε να έχουμε και στο Λέχοβο ένα πολύ καλό αποτέλεσμα, όπως και στο κεντρικό Λέβητα εδώ πέρα, ούτως ώστε να έχουμε και μια μικρή πρότυπη πιλωτική τηλεθέρμανση με τροφοδοτούμενη εξ ολοκλήρου, με υπολειμματική βιομάζα και όχι με εμπορική έτοιμη βιομάζα.
Θερμικά έργα βιομάζας όπως αυτά του Λεχόβου μπορεί να βρουν εφαρμογή και σε άλλες περιοχές της Ελλάδας ή της Ευρώπης, αξιοποιώντας τα εκάστοτε τοπικά διαθέσιμα είδη βιομάζας. Κλαδέματα μπελιών, κλαδέματα ελαιόδεντρων και άλλων δέντρων, άχυρο, στελέχη καλαμποκιού και άλλα είδη. Τέτοια έργα μπορεί να βρουν, αν είναι σωστά σχεδιασμένα, εφαρμογή για να καλύψουν θερμικές ανάγκες βιομηχανιών, δημοτικών κτηρίων, μικρών συστημάτων τηλεθέρμανσης, θερμοκηπίων, ξενοδοχειακών μονάδων και άλλων εγκαταστάσεων. Έχουν και περιβαλλοντικά ωφέλη, γιατί αποφεύγεται η καύση πετρελαίου και άλλων ορυκτών καυσίμων, αλλά και οικονομικά ωφέλη, γιατί η πολυματική βιομάζα είναι πολύ φθηνότερη ως καύσιμο. Επίσης, μπορεί να έχουν και άλλα παράπλευρα ωφέλη, όπως η δημιουργία τοπικών θέσεων εργασίας, η αποφυγή της ανεξέλεγκτης καύσης κλαδεμάτων στο χωράφι και άλλα.
I hope the streaming was working well and the message was clear.
It was very clear, and good to see that YouTube have clear pictures as well. So now we go to Spain, and I would like to welcome, Mrs. Barbarena, I can pronounce that, from the CINEA Biomass Business Development. Please, the floor is yours.
Yes, that's it. Thank you very much, Susan, and thank you very much, AgroBioHeat team, for giving the floor today to CINEA to try to share with you some insights of the opportunities that we think that the carbonization framework that we are facing and living nowadays is providing us, and the opportunity that it entails for the AgroBiomass's promotion. My name is Goitze Barberena. I'm a business development manager in CINEA, National Renewable Energy Center of Spain, devoted to the biomass part and working on our Bio2C center, our pilot biorefinery. Yeah. So as I was introducing you before, today we would like to share with you one insight that is very linked to the industry decarbonization and the European emission trading system development, new updates, and how these are going to somehow push or will be one of the main drivers for the sustainable biomasses promotion, and in this, of course, including agrobiomasses. Yeah, we know that the European emission trading system is being updated in line with Fit for Energy package, and we will have net greenhouse gas reductions of 55% versus the ones we had in 1990. Yeah, that means that the cap factor that we have needs to be strengthened in line with that. It means that the industries, mainly high energy consuming industries, are going to have less free allocated emissions. So these are going to be also better targeted. These are going to be conditioned to the decarbonization efforts that the industries are doing. This will be also linked to the CBAM, which is the carbon board adjustment in between the different countries worldwide. Also, these new updates are aimed at accelerating the investments, of course, in low carbon innovations and improve the auctions and revenue use. Yeah, those are also in line with the zero rating for sustainable biomasses. Yeah, as the agrobiomasses that we are aiming to valorize. Yeah, of course, every time that we can demonstrate that those are sustainable in relation to Renewable Energy Directive and its sustainability criteria. Yeah, it also provides us some rules for storage and carbon removals. But I think that the core for us is the new scenario that is promoting somehow the sustainable biomasses use. And in that, a key role for that will be agrobiomasses use. How is this affecting the industries? It affects because the price of CO2 that they are aiming to or they need to pay is growing. You can see from 2007, it started in 2019, and nothing to say on the last 2 years. This huge increase in CO2 price emissions that we have had. We really don't know at which will be like the top of these CO2 emissions, but it's so that the industries are willing to find new solutions. Of course, biomass and agrobiomasses are one solution. There are others, of course, carbon and capture storage, electrification, hydrogen, also, of course, improvement of efficiency of the boilers and some other aspects that are not related to the fuel itself, but for example, to the production processes themselves. Yeah, but on our side, biomass is playing a key role in this decarbonization, where industries that have a high heat demand. Yeah, for you to have a big figure, we have gone more or less through different industrial sectors where these main industries are consuming at the moment coal, petroleum coke, natural gas, gas oil, fuel oil, etc., up to 130 million ton oil equivalent. Yeah, so this needs to be replaced, of course, with the different renewables or different solutions that we have said. But in these solutions, biomass and agrobiomass will be a key role. Indeed, the IEA report is showing us how by 2050, the role of modern solid bioenergy is going to be important because mainly these decarbonization efforts that industries are aiming to do, of course, with a decrease in coal use, a decrease in natural gas use, and also in the oil use. Okay, so well, that said, more or less also the IEA shows that this modern solid bioenergy can be used, yeah, for buildings, agriculture, for industry, and for electricity production. But we do have here a huge potential in the industry area and also in the electricity production area. So that said, what is happening that the feedstock demand is increasing, and it will even more increase from now by to 2050. Yeah, that is coming also with a growing world pellet production. Yeah, and the increased competence for the raw material or for the feedstock. And this needs to be coupled with the biomass cascading principle, and we need to minimize the use of high quality stem wood for energy. Yeah, this is coming also from the EU regulations. So all of this is somehow promoting the use of the agrobiomasses, because the industry is aiming to change from fossil to bio or to renewables, but also on the part of the agrobio, we are aiming to go for these residues which are lower quality and go through this biomass cascading principle. Okay, so that said, it's so that the agricultural residues potential is even higher than the one that we have for woody biomasses in general. Yeah, we have also some figures here, and also the projections that the Commission is releasing is that those one and the consumption of agricultural residues in particular is something that is going to be increased in the coming years. Yeah, so all of this was our hints to provide you a framework on why we are working on this agrobiomasses promotion and this agrobiomasses valorization, and why we all need to make efforts into the valorization of agrobiomass in general. Yeah, so in particular, we wanted to show you today this demo case in Spain, which is located in CINEA, our Bio2C center, We are located in the north part of Spain, in Navarra. We are working in our biorefinery and bioenergy center from research and development until demonstration phase, yeah, and in higher TRLs where we can demonstrate the technologies, the production of our agrobiofuel, so that it can reach the market, and we can prove it in industrial boilers with industrial partners from the steel industry, from cement industry, and many other type of sectors of that field. Yeah, our Bio2C Center is a semi-industrial demonstration scale testing facility where we have different process units where so in which we can develop, validate processes and products, yeah, bio-based products, advanced liquid biofuels, gaseous biofuels, and of course solid biofuels. In the field of solid biofuels, we are very hard working in this pretreatment unit. Yeah, we have a pretreatment unit of biomass of around 400, 500 kilos per hour. It depends on the feedstock, of course, and it depends, of course, on the moisture content of that feedstock and its characteristics. But what are we doing in those? We are working with agrobiomasses, such as, for example, straw, cereal straw, of course, corn stover, and other kind of these cereal bio residues, so that we are aiming to produce a high quality pellet, high quality solid biofuels in these facilities. Yeah, in the thermal pretreatment part, we have a torrefaction pilot plant working internally with a rotating shaft, which is indirectly heated reactor using thermal oil at about 250, 300 Celsius degrees. It's very flexible on raw materials. It's capable for an excellent mixing and agitation. The temperature control is also easy, and the final product is very heterogeneous. Yeah, so that coupled with the pelletization plant, where we have a hammer mill and a mixer in order to mill and mix the biomass, and a 30 kilowatts mill press with ad hoc die designs with different pellet diameter, compression ratio, number of holes, etc. We are producing this high quality pellet. Yeah, so this high quality pellet is aimed to replace, for example, the coal, the coke, and any other biomasses, more high quality biomasses that are being used at the moment in these industrial boilers, yeah, mainly for intensive industrial sector, which are very intensive in thermal energy consumption. Yeah, so here you can have a look on the different steps in the process. This is the straw, cereal straw, white cereal straw. Here we do have the torrefied cereal straw, and finally we do have here the high quality pellet. This is a torrefied pellet which can replace this coal, this coke that these industries are using at the moment. And this is one of the main factors that we think that agrobiomasses will play a very important role in the coming years. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. It was a pleasure to share with you these insights, and we are very much convinced that with the efforts of the different countries, institutions, and also of the industry, because they are one of the main drivers in this decarbonization change. But we are convinced that agrobiomasses can play a very important role, and they are aimed to play that role. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, agrobiomass is more important than ever in these geopolitical days, or what we will call a war, and the closing of, or try to be less dependent on the Russian gas. Thank you very much for sharing your insight to the industry, the test plan, the facilities, and of course, the technology. It's nice to see also the industrial side of this agrobiomass.
Suzanne,
Yes?
there is one comment at the
Yes.
chat that maybe we can address now before we give the floor to Renata, if it's okay with
Yes,
her
of
as well.
course. Yes.
And there is someone who is commenting about the potassium content in olive waste and I guess other biomasses, and that it is an issue when they're using in a boiler. I guess Gojera knows all about this, so maybe she can explain a bit how the process can, let's say, help with this issue. And from my side as well, maybe a short comment about the costs compared to the fossil fuel alternatives, because we have been looking into the carbonization of energy intensive industries, and usually when you start discussing about substituting petcoke, for example, or anything else with the biomass, then the cost issue does come up. So maybe a couple of quick comments on that.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Manolis, and thank you, John, for your question. Indeed, potassium content of these agrobiomasses is a big issue. Yeah, for example, in olive wastes, but also in cereal straw, also in corn stover. But not only potassium content, but also chlorine content. Yeah, both of them are very, very challenging issues for the agrobiomasses. So in that sense, for example, what we are doing in the Bio2C and in our pre-commercial productions is to test this torrefaction among with other technologies that it's, for example, compressed by washing of the biomass and also use of some additives, because that makes the potassium and chlorine content to be lower. Okay, I have not gone through the technical specifications of the pellets that we produce. If you would like, of course, give me a call or an email, and we can chat around that. The specifications that we are having right now are meeting these potassium and chlorine contents, yeah. But also, not only that, but at this moment we have learned for the industry that those are two important issues. But also, for example, an important issue is the temperature of the flame and other issues that we have inside the boilers of these industries, which are very, very well optimized at the moment. They have been for years working with coal, with PET, and any change is changing somehow the whole paradigm they have in the production. Yeah, so that is one thing that we have to go through and to go through with them, of course. And the second issue that you were raising, Manolis, you are completely right. The term of the techno-economical studies and the inversion and the investments that they need to do is an issue nowadays. Of course, apart from all this trial and pre-commercial production that we are doing, we are working on sustainability assessments in terms of environment aspect, but also in terms of techno-economical feasibility aspects. Why? Because the carbon price is and will be an issue. So at the moment, of course, any change is something that any change in the fuel or in the boiler, I mean, is something that somehow is a stopper for the industry. But on the other side, they are having like the high CO2 emissions that they are paying at the moment, and they know that in 10 years they won't have free allocation of these emissions, so they will need to pay everything. Apart from that, they know that if they don't invest in improvements, they will have even less free allocations, etc., etc. So it's something that on our perspective, at least, it will take a little bit of time, but not so much time, because otherwise the industries will be late. I mean, it's kind of something like 10 years or something, 8-10 years or something like that. And otherwise they know that they will need to implement other kind of solutions. Of course, we have also electrification, we have also carbon capture. Everything will depend on the type of industry. But I think that in the coming 8 years, this change will happen.
Thank you for your replies and the final positive message, Galinza. So I think, Suzanne, we can proceed to Renata then.
Yes, and there will be possibilities to questions. We have the Q&A session later on, and you can prepare your questions or you can write them in the chat. But now we haven't been around the world, but almost it feels like it. And now we are turning the eye to Latin America. And it's my pleasure to welcome representatives from the Low Carbon and Circular Economy Business Action. First, Renata Veloso, and later Juan Arita, to present first the project, but also some business cases. So we're very pleased that you can join us, and please go ahead, Renata, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Suzanne, for an introduction and for the organization of this event. We're very happy as the Low Carbon Business Action to have the opportunity to be here today. I will start by sharing my screen, and please let me know if you can see the presentation on presentation mode.
Yes, please do that. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So as some of you in the audience might know, the Low Carbon Business Actions is an initiative that has been running for a year and a half now. It's a 3-year contract that aims to support and foster the implementation of low carbon technologies and circular economy solutions in markets across the Americas. So today we're going to give you a little bit of an overview of what the program is all about, but also Juan will bring some success stories and some cases of EU technologies that successfully entered the market and enabled them to reach their green transition. So my name is Renata Peloso, as they said. I am the program manager for the Low Carbon Business Action Initiative in Mexico. Today, this program covers a lot more than just Mexican market. So today we're going to give you an overview on all 6 markets that we are supporting EU SMEs entering through this EU-funded initiative. So we are talking about Canada, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and Colombia. So on a very concrete manner, how do we do that? We facilitate through EU-funded support the commercial partnership between EU technology in the different areas of the low carbon industry with local companies in the target markets. That may be distributors, that may be local companies that are deploying the technologies and customers, large corporates and multinationals, and so on and so forth. Our purpose is for sure to be a business-driven initiative. So ultimately, our aim is to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions across the globe and be in line with the EU Green Deal, as well as support the implementation of the Paris Agreement on climate change across those different 6 markets. We do that through a guided approach. So we take European companies from A to Z, from the step that we help them define their go-to-market strategy. Either they know the market they're willing to enter or not yet. So we will provide market intelligence, business intel, helping to set the frame of the market they're going to go in, all the way to closing the deals, entering the market, and assessing the impact that their solution will have within the market, but also with their end client. When we talk about impact, we're talking about social, economic, but most importantly, environmental impact. So we will support your company as well, develop the right metrics to understand how your solution can contribute to carbon emissions reductions, to reducing water consumption, to reducing waste, and so on and so forth. In order to join this initiative, we created a very straightforward framework where each one of the markets of interest has a dedicated platform. In opportunities like this event, we share with you a little bit of an overview of different business opportunities across the market, so you can also understand where your solution has better fit with the opportunities in the market. And then you can go through a simple process of engagement where you provide us a little bit of information on your technologies, on your vision for your international growth, and we will help you find the ideal business partner in the target markets. This initiative, as we mentioned, is funded by the European Commission, so there is no costs involved for the SMEs. However, we do have a couple of restrictions or a couple of guidelines in order to participate. So companies that are from a mature startup level all the way to a mid-cap are welcome to participate. They must be headquartered in one of our 27 EU member states, and they must be willing to expand and explore their business either in Argentina, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Colombia, or Mexico. All companies participating must have a key technology that is relevant for the green transition, and those technologies are further detailed in a couple of slides. We're also, of course, welcoming to this initiative all the multipliers and key stakeholders that are facilitating this process of go-to-market and internationalization, such as clusters, industry associations, chambers of commerce. So we will not only help to connect you with local players interested in your solution, but also with the ecosystem that will enable your a smooth go-to-market, so local and international players. So companies must be owned by EU nationals, have a valid VAT number, and a commerciable solution, headquartered in the member states. And for the companies in the local markets and the partners, all we ask is for the company to be already operating and have a clear use or a clear output for the technology that they are looking for. So just on general lines, be willing to invest on their clean transition. To join the initiative, it's a four-step process. First, we'll help you identify as you go through our websites and express interest in growing to one of those markets. We'll help you identify opportunities in those target markets. Once the opportunities is identified, as I'm going to give you an example, green mobility in Mexico or waste to energy in Latin America, we will help you identify then who would be the right partner. So what are the companies in the target market that are looking for solutions that are similar or coherent to the ones that you are providing. Once that is defined, we will work together with both ends, a joint business concept. So exactly what is the business model that you should be working with? And our teams will provide you with up to 25 days, so almost a full month of work on technical assistance that may cover feasibility studies, that may cover your legal and assessment, your go-to-market strategy, your finance, the full commercial support. The program will help accelerate and scale up as well your solution into different partners and different potential clients, as well as help you assess how your solution has had a positive impact to those clients and to the market. Sector-wise, there's a lot of coherence between the three markets. So as you can see, waste energy is and biomass, biogas is consistent across all the market opportunities identified. Then, of course, our market opportunities are also suitable or fit to what the needs of the local countries are. So you will see that in Canada, there is a strong interest in the transformation of heavy industry, waste and plastics. Same Latin America, a lot of focus on energy efficiency, but also agriculture and forestry. Renewable energies is a concept across all three markets. Biofuels, specifically for Latin America, very strong opportunities in Brazil. And in LCB in Mexico, you will see a lot of focus in water treatment, in zero waste, and in other areas that the government has been supporting this transition. For all the companies in the audience that think this is a strong gateway to new countries, please don't hesitate reaching out to one of our initiatives. You may also just send us an email into info@lowcarbonbusinessaction.com should you not know what market is the best suit for you, and we'll be happy to help you assessing the best business opportunities for you. I'm also open for questions. I will hand over the floor to Juan Arrieta, our colleague, that will bring some case studies in AgroBiomass for you and provide you some concrete examples on how the program supported those solutions entering the market. And then we will open to questions after his presentation. Juan?
Thank you very much, Renata. Hello all. Thanks to AgroBioHeat, thanks to Susan for granting us this opportunity to participate today in this webinar. Well, as Renata explained, I'm Juan Arrieta. I'm part of the EU team working in the LCBA, in the Low Carbon Business Action in Latin America, that is implemented in Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and Colombia. And well, we have done for this specific occasion a selection of some of our case studies and from our success cases and business opportunities that are within the scope of the biomass sector. And in this sense, biomass combustion is presented as an excellent alternative to promote the replacement of energy generation sources by burning fossil fuels or other unsustainable means. And well, as you may know, the LCBA currently has numerous local teams working in each of the countries. And these teams, well, they are they have developed an extensive network of not only companies, but also, as Renata explained, a full ecosystem of institutions and industry clusters, associations that work closely in sectors, in industrial sectors that are currently needing sustainable alternatives to decarbonize their activities and also to head for more circular consumption and production models. And well, at first glance, I think this business case, it's quite useful because it will actually show you how the LCBA actually works, right? And I thought it was relevant to start from this success case. This project is currently being developed in Chile, together with a large company that owns several planted forests. This success case, well, is a result of this constant contact of the Chilean team with associations, industry clusters, and also EU member state trade offices. So through this, sorry, I can see the presentation. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna share my screen because I was on Renata's screen. Okay, just a moment. Yeah.
Just put it in presentation mode.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay.
Look, Juan, near configuration de visualization, it's the symbol near minus.
Sorry.
It's a small sign in below. It's a whole screen. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, I can't click it because
okay.
So okay, now. Okay, so now it's fine, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so as I was explaining, this success case, this business case, comes from a company that owns planted forests, and this company came to us saying that they had a problem. They produce 100,000 tons of wood annually. Thereby, they generate an enormous amount of wood waste whose value is never recovered. And with the support of our team of experts, we jointly defined a project, a joint business concept, which will consist in the construction of a pelletizing plant to recover these forest residues. The plant will be able to process a volume of 30,000 cubic meters per year and includes a 3 megawatt wood drying system. So in this context, the EU-based LCBA team, which I currently lead, carries out an intensive technology scouting exercise with the aim of identifying the most suitable EU suppliers that can respond to these needs and that can and that can fill this technology gap. So after activating our network and resorting to our increasingly big network of EU participants, which I invite you to join, we identified 8 companies that could provide this technology solution. And after subsequent technical meetings and matchmaking activities, the local buyer selects the most suitable EU provider, and they jointly define their joint business concept. This joint business concept, this joint business project, it contains the commitments of the 2 companies to materialize this project, having a positive environmental impact. And for this, we provide these technical assistance services to support the materialization of this project and its actual transformation into a valid sales contract. So this is a very important thing because this is our main goal. We want projects to materialize because we need to generate a positive environmental impact. And for this, we need to go beyond just the mere papers. We really need the projects to be executed. And so here you can see that the total investment reached 4 million euros. And well, it has a clearly positive environmental impact since there was an actual replacement of fossil fuels by biomass, and also because of the use of sawdust instead of incineration with waste energy, and also because of the reduction of ashes produced. So as you can see in the bottom of this table, the technical assistance services required was an economic financial feasibility study and also a product and technology feasibility analysis. So just so you know, within the technical assistance, it covers any kind of activity that contributes to the implementation of these projects. So it's really wide scope. It can be financial coaching, legal advice, also technical feasibility studies, laboratory tests, and really the scope, the range is very, very wide. And we, with our participants, we learn every day, and actually we come to the conclusion that it's really difficult to make like an indicative list of what the technical assistance services cover, because it really can be really, really wide. So I'm trying to. Okay, so can you see the next slide or?
Yes, it seems that your computer just works a little bit slow, so it's fine now.
Okay. So now I'm passing to the business opportunities. These are active projects that are in need of a provider. They also come as a result of the contact of our teams working in field. First, there is this gasification project in Argentina. Here, there is a company that gets in touch with us, and tell us that they generate a large amount of rice husk that is currently wasted. This potential buyer owns 40,000 hectares of rice crops divided into different areas in Argentina. And due to the high costs they face for the purchase of energy and gas and also for fuel, since they pay a full price for the energy purchase, unlike all companies in Argentina, they tell us that they would like to generate, to recover the value of these abundant resources, of these that are currently wasted, to use these sub-products, integrating and developing a circular production and consumption model. So for this purpose, the EU team is currently contacting EU companies working on biomass gasification. Also, in some cases that it has been explored the pyrolysis technologies, and also, well, currently they are requiring a catalytic hydrogas gasification plant for the gasification of waste coming from the rice. And also they are open to explore other technologies that could be more or less innovative, as long as they help them contribute to their goals. And so it can be any technology that can help for the valorization of rice husk. And secondly, in Colombia, we have selected this other business opportunity. This company has a sustainability problem, since they have a coal-fired boiler, which is used to produce electricity and heat for the production processes. This company is a local sugar producer that owns numerous sugar plants across Colombia and produces very large amounts of bagasse and silage, which is not used for further purposes. And since the company wishes to recover the value of this waste, they would like to implement a biomass boiler and turbo generator with a power capacity of 10 megawatts and with a pressure of 65 pounds per square inch for steam extraction and condensation. And in third place, in Brazil, we are in touch with a large cooperative company that has more than 70 years of experience working in the dairy sector, with an average milk processing capacity of 292 million liters per year. And this company produces all kinds of dairy products, including milk, cheese, yogurts, and it currently exports around 25% of the production. So it's active at a global scale, and it's widely established in the Brazilian territory. And the company currently has an upgrade gasifier with a power capacity of 10 megawatts that was used to generate syngas. That in the past, this syngas was used to feed a boiler and to produce saturated steam, reducing the fuel oil consumption and minimizing the utility cost and CO2 emissions. However, in 2020, the plant was connected to the natural gas local system, and now the gas is used to replace the aforementioned supply from syngas fuel oil with a lower cost. So we currently have this gasifier that has fallen disuse, and they would like to optimize the use of this equipment, aiming at a more efficient and cheaper and cleaner energy supply. And for this, they see that there's an opportunity to use this gasifier through the combustion of syngas. So the company requires a technology solution to solve this problem, and this is a technology that can enable syngas utilization. But most importantly, they need to find a technology that is able to remove the tars of these syngas before it enters the internal combustion engine via gas washing or a cracking machine. So once this gas enters the turbine, it will be it should be cleaned, and once this is done, it would be able to generate electricity through this turbine. So as these are developing technologies, and technology is not so obvious in this case, they are interested in doing a first pilot, and for 500 kilowatt generation solution, in order to evaluate its performance and taking advantage of the company's experience and equipment for syngas production. So finally, in Chile, there's also another project from a sugar mill, a company that owns numerous sugar plants. It's a leader working in in sugar production, and this project is implemented through an intermediary. So this is also a relevant thing, because here we work also with a turnkey engineering project company that is leading company providing technology solutions for renewable energy generation. And this company is also developing other renewable energy projects. And the technology end user would be this sugar plant company. And this enterprise currently, it manages 20,000 hectares of sugarcane fields, as well as sugar factories and bioethanol distilleries. The company annually grinds 2.8 million tons of cane and produces 150,000 tons of raw and white sugar, as well as 10,000 cubic meters of industrial alcohol, which is then dehydrated by another company within the same group. So the technology end user, this sugar plant company, they would like to use this waste, and that is currently disposed. And the total amount of the waste generated being 154,000 tons per year of bagasse, and 620,000 tons per year of silage. So the turnkey engineering company is seeking to implement a project aimed at the recovery of this waste, but it has a twofold objective, as you can see there. The first would be the production of electrical energy to feed their production processes, and also to lower their energy costs. And the above mentioned products, the bagasse and silage, they will be burnt in a biomass boiler to generate this electricity. And also, since the combustion of these subproducts, it produces a very rich subproduct that is very rich in potassium oxide. They would like to manufacture fertilizers out of this subproduct. So for this, the required technology solution would be a biomass boiler that runs with vinasse and granulation, pelletizing or chemical processes to extract potassium and convert it to fertilizer. And in this case, the company is seeking to get in touch with an EU supplier that has a verifiable experience in the manufacture of operational boilers, boilers that remain fully operational during the flaring of bagasse and silage, and also the possibility of guaranteeing a fully performing boiler in terms of high pressures, steam production, atmospheric emissions, and continuous operation. So these are just a few of the many business opportunities that we have been managing and that we are still identifying through our local teams. Also, the success case is a perfect example of how the LCBA works. So if you wish to get involved in any of such projects, we invite you to register in our platform, which is totally free. So actually you would have a local sales team for a quite affordable price of €0. So then again, we invite you to register, and so we can assess the profile of your company and see if you can fit in any of the business opportunities we identified, and if you are eligible to partake as a provider for any of these or other projects. So thank you very much. I return the floor to my colleagues and to Susan.
Yes, thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Then we will start the Q&A. So if you have questions, please share in the chat or ask for speaking time. As far as I can see, there's no questions in the chat. So raise your hand or please let us know if you have any comments or any questions. We still have some time. Otherwise, in the meantime, while you're thinking, I can maybe say thank you very much for giving this very great insight to a different part of the world that we are usually meeting in our webinars and matchmaking events. So thank you to you to share the business opportunity. This is really interesting, and hopefully what we need now is a matchmaking. So we are lucky that we're organizing a matchmaking on May 11th. And I usually say it's almost like dating just for companies and organizations. So what you need is to register at the website. I think most of you have, but if you haven't, I've put it in the chat. Then you create your profile. You explain a little bit about your company or organization. What are you looking for? What are you offering? And then you can look at the marketplace. Please also fill in the marketplace where you say exactly what you're looking for and what you can provide. And then it's the booking of meetings are open. So now you can book meetings, or you can also be booked. And hopefully, Renata or Pang, you can also, you're more than welcome to participate with these business cases and see if there are any companies who would be interested, and then take them to your site later on. And you can follow all the time on the website how many meetings. You can have your meeting schedule ready, so there should be no excuse not to register and book the meetings. This is a great opportunity for meeting potential collaboration partners, but you could also use it for gaining knowledge on certain topics. If you see there are also people from universities and scientists who are participating. So on the very day you just logged on to your profile, see your program, and of course you can do that beforehand. And then from 9 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock in the evening, there will be many meetings, I hope. So I'll keep you posted from the system. But in the meantime, I hope very much that you enjoyed this webinar. We promised a fully packed, very informative, very intensely showcasing of opportunities, success stories, and also business opportunities from all over, not all over the world, but we touch many places and continents. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and please join us for the matchmaking. Manolis, I don't know if you would like to say a closing word, and at least this is goodbye from me. Thank you so much for your active participation.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank all the speakers today, Tihammer, Borglarga, Goitzeter, Renata, Juan, Eric remotely, and Suzanne, of course, for the moderation. I hope, I thank the audience for staying with us. I hope they found it informative. I think we will share a recording of this event later on, and the presentations as well through the matchmaking event website. And as mentioned by Suzanne, do join the matchmaking, or maybe in for the low carbon business, let's say, mission, you could flag this to your, let's say, contacts and clients, because a lot of relevant people, I think, technology providers are going to be there, and I think it's a very good opportunity to make contacts and develop new projects or new business opportunities. I won't take up any more of your time, so everybody have a nice day, and we stay in touch. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And 2 minutes before time, it's a record. So I hope you will have a nice lunch. And goodbye from us, and see you later, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.